welcome back to Breakfast Central. Our next conversation this morning is one that has rippled effects one way or the other across the various continents, which Africa and Nigeria is not left out by implications. We look further into U.S. President Donald Trump's tariff policies and its profound impact on Nigeria's economy. From trade imbalances to industrial setbacks, we'll explore the hard-hitting realities behind the numbers. Join us this morning on Breakfast Central to discuss this is Collins Nweke, a global affairs analyst and a good friend of the house. Nice to see you in Nigeria, Mr. Nweke, and a warm welcome to you. Thanks for joining us on Breakfast Central.
Thank you, Wenga. Thank you for having me. Olive and Joe, it's a pleasure to be with you guys.
Great. Now, Mr. Collins Nweke, we live in a global village. The entire world is interconnected. And but why is it that this U.S. tariffs on countries around the world is such a big deal? It seems if the U.S. sneezes, the entire world economy catches a cold, and Nigeria is not left out of this.
Well, we have a president who had promised Americans and the world that he's going to do exactly what he's doing now, which is, shake the world up and actually, do some reciprocal policies around, trading partners of the United States of America. That was what he said he was going to do, and that is exactly what he's doing now. But of course, that is not the main issue. The main issue is, the sort of effect, the sort of impact that is having, on the global economy, and the question of, if it could have been done differently. I mean, it's not like those before him didn't work on tariff matters and, trying to be fair and just in their tariff, strategies and policies. But here we are. The reality is that, Donald Trump is, part of a different mood. And so he decided to go this way now. For a number of countries, it is a lot worse than what it is for Nigeria. For Nigeria, we're looking at 14% tariff, okay? For other countries, we're looking at over 100, percent. And so, in the justification here, like you alluded to, is the fact that there is a slight trade deficit between the United States and Nigeria, something close to $2 billion US dollars. So that's where we are, really.
Anyway. But how do you think Nigeria is responding to this? Do you think our response is indeed well enough to actually quell the situation?
Well, I do not know that Nigeria has actually taken any major step either to retaliate like other countries, have done, or actually try to, negotiate like indeed other countries have done. For instance, United Kingdom. So I'm not very conversant with, exactly what Nigeria has done. But you see, I think it's also important to look at the other side of the coin, because this is not all, negative. I mean, in terms of its impact on Nigeria, because it also offers a number of opportunities for things to be done differently. Take, for instance, the issues around the diversification of the economy, de-emphasizing oil export, developing the green economy and, renewables and all of that. And then also inter-Africa trade. So it could very well be that Nigeria has decided to focus on some of the positives, some of the unintended positive impact of this tariff hike, as opposed to, retaliation or other means. But the least that one would expect that Nigeria would do is find a way to at least attempt to, negotiate with the United States of America. But like I said, I have to be upfront about this. I'm not sure exactly what, the response that the government of Nigeria has given.
Okay, I know that you wrote an article, and in your article you're advocating for a just and inclusive energy transition for Nigeria. How do you think that, tariff wars like this, I mean, some have referred to it as trade wars or tariff wars, whatever you might choose to refer to it as, but how do you think that scenarios like this might implicate Nigeria's ability to transition to energy and keep up with global best practices? Bearing in mind that we, of course, have been hearing about the ban of importation of solar panels and the like. So how do we fare in these conversations?
Well, yeah. For Nigeria to achieve a purposeful, meaningful energy that will serve the entire country, businesses, and all of that, they've got to look at, an energy mix. So which means that Nigeria would not be dependent on just one source. You mentioned solar panels. They are not manufactured here. But you see, the point is that there are other countries, for instance, in Europe and so on and so forth, where they are manufactured. Now, one of the things that Nigeria would begin to consider is, take, for instance, offering the opportunities for, solar panels to be manufactured, in a place like Nigeria and then shipped to other places, because manufactured and shipped from Europe, for instance, will meet a very, very serious, tariff. Which is not viable for business. So take also other aspects, thermal energy, for instance, biomass. Nigeria has opportunities in these areas, and they can then begin to develop them. Hydro energy, little dams in streams scattered all across the nation. They can begin to, source for the technology from every part of the world. Europe, for instance, to begin to develop those, sources of clean energy.
Now, the Africa Growth Opportunities Act, AGOA, is set to expire this year. Do you think President Trump will be renewing it? And also, what other trade opportunities can Nigeria capitalize on or expand towards? I mean, looking at the EU, for example, and other regional blocs, what opportunities are out there?
It is doubtful that AGOA is going to be renewed. President Trump has said that much. So it will be a surprise if it's renewed. Now, is it going to cause some ripple effects on Nigeria? Well, yes, indeed, but I believe that the effect is manageable. For instance, you have alluded to developing export relationship, closer export relationship with other countries of the world. As you know, there is this movements around, development of another trading bloc. I'm trying to remember the name now.
Is it BRICS?
BRICS, yes. As a matter of fact, So these are, groups that are actually courting Nigeria and other nations so that they bypass America and, create opportunities beyond what AGOA would offer. So I do believe that to some extent, the reality is dawning on a number of countries, including Nigeria, that, America is letting everyone to be on their own. And when that happens, it creates opportunities for you to, seek other pathways, other avenues. And so that's what Nigeria will be doing. Turkey is making a very, very significant inroad into Africa and other nations of the world. Russia has shown interest, and so on and so forth. So there are opportunities beyond America. And those are what many countries are now, exploring.
I'm glad that you've mentioned other opportunities beyond America. I mean, you did highlight Belgium as a potential partner for Nigeria's transition to, clean energy. So how would you say we can foster non-tariff-based partnerships with countries that are not embroiled in this tariff war or don't have such concerns at the moment?
Right. Thank you for that question, Olive. Well, Belgium and Luxembourg have been trading partners, friendly trading partners of Nigeria. And there is no indication that, you know, in the coming years that, you know, they are going to see anything like what is coming out from the United States. Just to give you one specific example, for the first time in Nigeria's history, cocoa, you know, has surpassed oil in revenue, in export revenue for Nigeria. This is, like I said, happening for the first time. And you probably want to hazard a guess where the, you know, chocolate capital of the world is. Well, that is Belgium. Now, related to that is also the technology that drives production. Like Belgium has all of those, and then think of the inroads that you know fintech is making in the economy of now and in the economy of the future. Luxembourg is basically the global capital of fintech. Now, what we are trying to do within the Nigeria-Belgium-Luxembourg Business Forum is actually assemble all of these players in the areas that have been identified as, you know, lucrative for Nigeria, and get them to, you know, come into Nigeria and then link up with Nigerian businesses so that they can start transacting. And we are seeing quite a lot of success in that area because if you look at the latest figure released by Nigeria Export Promotion Council, the non-oil export for 2024, the latest available figure, stands at over 20%. This is as a consequence of you know, some of these trade promotional activities that you know, bodies like ours are actually undertaking, and you know, we can only you know, enhance them more. That we know now that the United States is playing hardball and is actually no longer, you know, trade friendly.
Okay, and before we wrap up, I also wanted to ask you what other industries and sectors, I know we've spoken a lot about renewable energy, but what other industries and sectors you think might be affected as a result of this, you know, trade wars that we're currently experiencing?
Well, I think the service industry is also set to be affected. Let's not forget that right from Lagos, where you and I are at this moment, there are lots of young people who are actually, you know, offering services to different firms, you know, particularly in the IT sector, that are working right from you know, their location. Some of them actually back in the villages, working for global conglomerates and all of that. I do not know the extent to which the tariff you know, war affects them, but I believe that for America, it's going to have you know, an adverse effect. For Nigeria, I think it's going to be a plus. But more importantly, I think the area that you know, we have the biggest impact will be in non-oil, you know, sectors like, you know, the steel industry, as an example, just to leave it at one.
All right. I want to say thank you so much, Collins Nweke, for joining us. Hopefully, we'll get to have you in the studio before you, in quotes, go back to your place of abode. Thank you so much. Thanks for joining us.
I'm looking forward to it. Thank you. Thank you so very much.
Great.